Hey, LarkenRose here. Oh, wow. Did you see Trump with Zelensky? He really showed him who's boss. Now we have a real leader really putting that guy in his place. Okay, first of all, does that mean the American people get back the hundreds of billions of dollars that were stolen from them to give to a foreign country? Well, no. Okay. So Trump really showed that guy who's boss. How does Trump view you? How does that affect your freedom? How does that affect the rates of tax you have to pay? The number of things you're not allowed to do without government permission. But he's such a leader. Also, did you see that the FBI might be going after that Adam Schiff character? Okay. Schiff is a slime ball. I don't mind that at all. How does that impact you and your freedom? And how much you're being robbed by a ruling class? Did you see how much fraud and abuse they're exposing about USAID and Social Security, even though half of it wasn't true, and all this stuff? They're rooting out that fraud. Okay, good. If there's fraud, I'm glad they're exposing it. They are lying about a lot of it, mischaracterizing a lot of it. But okay, if they're exposing fraud, good. How does that relate to you and your freedom? How does Trump view you and treat you? Well, did you see how he's really sticking it to the libs over there? And they're all upset about this. And this reporter got all upset because the new White House press secretary. Why the fuck do you care about any of that? He's fighting corruption. No, he's not. He's fighting certain corruption and going after certain political parasites. And yeah, they totally suck, as do the Republicans. So I'm not defending them in the least. Do we have to look into the Biden thing and the Hunter laptop? And what about the pardon for Fauci? Have you even noticed that your new Lord and Savior Trump does a whole lot of focusing on, let's go get the other guys, the political opponents? 2 seconds after saying, no more will the FBI and federal intelligence agencies be used to go after political opponents and be weaponized, except when they do it, and then it's fine. Again, the people they're going after and making a big show about, okay, that's fine. I don't give a crap about those crooked, lying scumbags, of which there are many. Pelosi and Schumer, and the list is really long. He's going after them, okay? First of all, I wouldn't take his word for it, but if he is, that's fine. What does that mean for your freedom? Have you heard that Massa Jones is saying he might whip Massa Johnson for what he did when he was manager last time? Okay, are you still a slave? Yeah. Are they still whipping you? Yeah. Are they still stealing the fruits of your labor just as much as before? Yeah. Are they proposing socialist handouts and calling it something else? Yeah. Did Trump just say he believes in murdering people for voluntary exchange? Drug dealers who sell involuntary trade to willing adult customers, things that government doesn't approve of? Trump is in favor of murdering people for doing that. Yeah, but look what he said about this politician, and look at all this drama. And look how mad these politicians are at those politicians, and look at how those politicians. Why do you give a shit? Are you this easy to distract that they can just put a soap opera in front of you and you'll forget the chain around your ankle? What the fuck is wrong with you? He hasn't even cut spending. Well, we found this fraud and the other thing. Have you seen the budget they're proposing? Well, he's ending taxes on tips. Well, so far, no, he isn't. Well, okay, but he's ending taxes on Social Security. Well, so far, no, he isn't. He could. Or the Republicans could. They haven't yet. They pretended to. Well, they released the Epstein files. No, they didn't. They lied about it. They hyped it. They pretended they were going to. And they put on a show. And you fell for it. They put on a show with Pam Bondi pretending this is horrible. I'm just sickened by the thought of all these victims being victimized by Epstein and all these powerful people. It's time for the big reveal. Whoops, we don't have anything. Whoops, I guess I kind of forgot to check to see if we had anything to reveal while we were hyping the big reveal that was a big nothing. It was a commercial for Trump with zero substance. And now the thing I made fun of, Bondi is literally out there pretending, well, I assumed we had all the files because the people in New York said so. Really? You planned this giant hype of this damning evidence that you had never seen? You didn't know what it said? You had never had it in your possession? But you assumed they were going to hand it to you the day of the big reveal? She's not that dumb. She might be stupid, and she is, for taking that job and for going in front of cameras and making a complete ass of herself to cover Trump's bullshit. But this wasn't just a mistake. She lied. Pam Bondi doesn't give a fuck about Epstein's victims. Kash Patel doesn't give a fuck about Epstein's victims. They will put on a show. They will pretend they're going to do a big reveal. And then they may make a hoopla, well, that politician that we don't like, there were emails between him and Epstein. Let's make a big deal about that. How about the thing you said you were going to tell the public and show the public? Oh, you lied. You lied your asses off. And you're still playing the part of, but we really want to get to the bottom of it. No, you don't. You never did. Trump really wants to expose these. You know all the hype that Trump supporters did about exposing the Democrat pedo evil and locking them all up that he did the first time around? If you don't remember, Donald Trump was president for 4 years. He was the head of the executive branch, which means the head of the Department of Justice, including the FBI. When did you hear him say a word about Epstein? All his supporters are saying, yeah, he's about to lock up all those horrible pedos. No, he isn't. He didn't do a damn thing. He didn't even say a word about it. Didn't even put on this show until the second time around. And immediately he demonstrates that the show is a show. He never meant it. There was nothing to reveal. They knew there was nothing to reveal. But they had to do the propaganda hype to pretend they're on your side and then stab you in the back. And that move was so idiotic that even a bunch of conservatives are now rightfully pissed. It's like, I thought you were actually going to tell us. Now, I have to slightly laugh at them for actually thinking he ever had any intention of doing anything of the sort. So you think that just slipped his mind for the first 4 years? And you think now they're going to, like I talked about before, you think they're going to come out and go, here's the evidence we've been sitting on for just decades. We had it all along. We knew it was there. We knew the truth. We let these heinous, horrible people commit these heinous, horrible crimes, and we're not going to do anything about it now until we can get a photo op out of it. And then you find out we're still not doing it. We'll do the photo op. We'll hand out folders that say, the most transparent administration in history. Ignoring the irony that he put that on the front of a folder, which is literally a cover-up of everything Epstein did, with Bondi helping the cover-up, Patel helping the cover-up, Trump helping the cover-up. They don't give a shit about Epstein's victims. They don't give a shit about you. They're going to keep on putting on a show of strongman Trump, like that dumb little drama they did in the White House with Zelensky. And people are like, oh, he's looking like such a great leader. For people who are new to this channel, okay, I can kind of expect that. For people who have heard of self-ownership and non-aggression, well, he's a strong leader. He's a parasitic crook talking to another parasitic crook, playing games and putting on a show. You are cheering your abuser. Even you think, well, he's a more manly abuser than that one. And so now you like him? Now it's okay that you are continually victimized and extorted by this gang of thugs with him sitting on the throne? Now that's okay? You don't give a shit about freedom anymore? As long as the guy abusing you is the best slave master in the whole county? By the way, Frederick Douglass talked about how slaves used to do this too, where they would argue with each other about whose master was the most awesome. while he whipped them and forced them to work for him. Just like Trump is doing to you right now, because you're still paying tribute to the federal government. If you don't, thugs with guns in the agencies that Trump oversees are going to come ruin your life if they catch you doing it. Well, if they get around to it, they don't have the resources to harass everybody. Trump views you as livestock, and you're cheering for him because he's saying bad things and either pretending to go after or actually going after other crooks. Why does that matter? Why would that make you think he's good? Well, the enemy of my enemy, if you've ever believed that saying, that the enemy of your enemy is automatically your friend, you're a moron. It's like, look, you could do it with either side, Stalin or Hitler. Now, first of all, in World War II, they were buddies for a while. And then suddenly they weren't buddies anymore, and they were stabbing each other in the back, as power-happy psychos tend to do. And then suddenly Stalin, Uncle Joe, was buddies with the U.S. ruling class psychopaths. So now we don't like him. Now we like him. He was a mass-murdering evil psycho 5 seconds ago, but then he switched sides, and now he's over here, and now we love Stalin. He's awesome. And you know how we can tell he's awesome? Because of the mean things he says about Hitler. And you know how you can tell Hitler's awesome? Because of the mean things he says about Stalin. Do either of them believe in freedom? No. Are they both literally war criminals? Yep. Are they both authoritarian collectivists who abuse their own people? Yep. Is Donald Trump a warmonger? Yep. Does he abuse his own people? Yep. Does he advocate the widespread extortion and violent domination of everyone in the country and a whole lot of people outside of the country? Yep, he absolutely does, just as much as any puppet who has ever been there. And still some people are going rah, 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 because he's putting on a show, literally just professional wrestling. Oh, he's going to show that. Did you see how he did a suplex on Zelensky? Are you that dumb? How does he treat you? How does he view you? If he views you as livestock and treats you as livestock, stop cheering for him, even if he pretends to be against other people who view you as livestock and treat you as livestock. The fact that this needs to be explained is just pathetic. What has he actually done to increase freedom? Well, we found this fraud and you lied about a whole bunch of it. And all of the fraud he found, if they cut absolutely all of it, we still won't be anywhere near back to the levels of federal spending that there were before Trump took office the first time around. Not even breaking even, not even close to breaking even. But he says he's going to do this. So we're going to play that game again. You didn't learn from Obama? Let's give him a Nobel Prize because he says he's not a warmonger. Meanwhile, Trump says whatever he thinks means, I'm the powerful one. We should take over Gaza. You're a warmongering genocidal maniac, and so are your buddies in the Israeli ruling class. All a bunch of evil shits. Oh, but when it's Ukraine, suddenly, no, we can't give them money. America first. With Israel first, and then America. And some other people, we buy their influence, but Ukraine, somewhere after, they don't give a fuck about you. You're paying for all of it. They're robbing all of you. They're robbing all of you to pay the U.S. parasites, to pay the people that the U.S. parasites bribe, to pay for the warmongering here, to pay for the warmongering over there, to pay for the warmongering over there, like they've always done the whole time. Now Trump's saying great things about the head of Saudi Arabia. Is it that hard for people to remember principles and say, okay, you might hate that guy, or you might not, you might be putting on a show, but you're an evil piece of crap, and he's an evil piece of crap. I'm not going to cheer for either one of you. Is that too much to ask from people who claim to be pro-freedom? Apparently it is. And this stupid show of, now they're going to go after Adam Schiff or this politician or the, who cares? Like, yeah, pretty much everybody there, Democrat and Republican, are corrupt slimeballs. And it comes out, how did these people make so many millions of dollars? Okay, we're going to do Republicans next, and how did they make so many millions of dollars? No, right now, those are the enemies you're supposed to hate. And then we do battle with each other and all stomp on you, and you're supposed to decide which set of crooks to cheer for. Why are you still falling for this? And on the bright side, if you can possibly call it that, slowly but surely, a bunch of conservatives are learning what some of us were trying to tell them the whole stinking time, which is Trump is not a conservative. He doesn't believe in freedom, doesn't even believe in the Constitution. He believes in his own power. So when he threatens, well, if they do tariffs, I'm going to do tariffs, he's just playing with millions and millions of people's lives, including Americans. When John Deere, the company, goes, we may move down to Mexico because it's cheaper down there, is Trump's response, well, maybe we should lower taxes and regulations here? Nope. His response is, if you do that, 200% tariffs. Literally just bully, just the thug. If you do what is economically rational, moving somewhere where it costs less to do business, we're going to punish you with the violence of the state. That is Trump in a nutshell, because he didn't get his way. He doesn't look good if John Deere moves some of its plants to Mexico, so he has to whip out the power of the state and threaten violent extortion if they have a factory down there trying to sell to Americans. Guess who suffers as a result of his power-happy megalomania? Everybody who works at John Deere, everybody who buys John Deere, everybody who already has a John Deere and might want to buy John Deere parts later on if they need to replace something. All the people who buy or sell anything having anything to do with that. Because when you stick a tariff on, which is just a tax, you're forcibly interfering with trade everywhere. And people are still cheering for it because, he's going to show John Deere. He's going to show you, dumbass. You're the one suffering from his control freak bullshit. And the fact that people are still cheering, well, he's a real leader. He's a real parasite and a thug and a thief, like anybody who ever gets near that throne. And it's pathetic to see people who should know better. I mean, I expect voters. I expect Biden voters to be as dumb as they are and Trump voters to be as dumb as they are. I expect Republicans and Democrats to fall for the same crap they've been falling for my entire life until maybe they actually have a principled thought and say, maybe we shouldn't have a ruler or anybody robbing us. But for the people who actually claim to be pro-freedom, to jump ship and cheer for Trump and his tariffs and his, political witch hunts for this and that, even if they're evil pieces of shit he's going after, he's still treating you like livestock. He's not the good guy. Even if he goes and punches out some other bad guy. Zelensky is a warmongering piece of shit, too. And I'm glad if Americans aren't getting robbed to give them money. They're still getting robbed. The money will go somewhere else, maybe to go violently take over Gaza. The enemy of your enemy might be your friend, might be your enemy. You know how you can tell? By having principles. And if you had principles, you never would have supported Trump. And I see so many supposed libertarians who jumped on the bandwagon. And now they're making excuses. Some of them are at least backpedaling and go, whoa, this isn't what we want. Well, that's what you empowered, dumbass. And some of us were saying the whole time, that's what you're going to empower. Everybody who gets there, what they do is increase authoritarianism somewhere. They're not going to drastically decrease their power. Why would they do that? So Trump comes in, I'm going to increase power in tariffs, and in tariffs over here, and in violent control of immigration. And you're starting to hear the horror stories come out of that. And of course, yeah, the violent control of immigration is nothing new. Democrats and Republicans have done that forever, but he's hyping it up even more. And talking about how we have to give police immunity. And how they're the most oppressed people. The cops. And now he just came out and literally said he believes in murdering people for selling substances to willing adult customers if the government doesn't approve of that. So, where are the excuses? Bring them on. How many excuses do you have? And the Epstein thing is huge. You just all the way got stabbed in the back. They didn't just let it slide and not mention it. They hyped it up like, we're going to do the right thing, and then they did the wrong thing, and they're going to keep doing the wrong thing, and they're going to keep making excuses for it. And I want to see how long you fall for it. One lie is replaced by another and another. And they'll keep believing those lies until they're dead in the ground here on Trump's plantation. You don't know what that was a reference to? Oh, I don't have the book here. Go watch Jones' Plantation movie. Because you're still falling for it. You're still cheering for your abuser just because he pretends to really hate some other abuser. And he doesn't. And even if he takes one down and prosecutes one, you're still livestock at the end of the day. And you're cheering for that.